We joined, and I'm going to butcher this name. I practiced before, and I apologize. If I butcher it again, but Carina Schlüter. Did I do it?
Yes, perfect.
Carina Schlüter. She is from SK Polten in Austria. It is our women's professional team that we have a partnership with. They have the Rush jersey, and they have qualified for Champions League.
You're listening to CapChat, the #1 soccer recruitment podcast in the United States. This is CapChat.
How exciting is that?
I'm super excited. Like, I'm already getting goosebumps just thinking about it. We're playing some big teams. You already said, you already talked about Manchester City, and the even bigger team is going to be Barcelona. And we are super excited. Yeah. It's like a huge step for us. We are more or less like a small club, SKN. So it's like a big thing to actually perform in Champions League.
It's a massive thing. So last year you guys you never lost a game, went undefeated. You had a couple ties, but you missed out on Champions League. I guess tell the audience or maybe people that we don't know, like, how do you qualify for Champions League? How do you miss out, especially the team that was undefeated in play? So how does that work out for everyone?
So if you are a champion in the Austrian league, then you get to play the qualifying for Champions League, which is first step. It's a tiny tournament. So there's a draw, and you play against other champions from different leagues. And if you win this tiny this tiny tournament, then you proceed to the playoffs, which is a home match and an away match. And if you win these playoffs as well, then you make it to Champions League group stage. And that's only the best 16 teams of Europe, which is like a really big thing.
That is, so you guys have a harder path than, let's say, a Man City. Do they get an automatic bid if they win their league?
Well, there's another pathway. It's called the league path. So if you get like second or third in league, then you play against other second or third teams. But it's kind of complicated. Like there's those coefficient rules. So if your team has performed really well the last years, then you are higher ranked than the other teams. And so they kind of like check that not the best teams play against each other in first round. But I think for us it's a little bit better if we become champion than if we were second place. But it's still, a massive thing to reach Champions League group stage.
Huge. Yeah, top 16 women's professional team in all of Europe, which is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I think as we continue to bring awareness to the women's game, how much has the women's game changed for you over the past, say, 5 to 6 years? What are you seeing the big changes happening?
Yeah, there's a lot more people attending the matches. There's a lot more fans. There's a lot more, maybe even like interviews, newspapers writing about you. So people actually go and watch women's soccer, which is amazing. There's still so much more improvement that could be possible. So much more people who could come to our matches, but it's already like going in the right direction.
That's awesome. Do you remember the first time you signed an autograph to maybe a little girl or a little kid? I mean, do you remember that moment?
I do. Like I think I was 14 years old. So it's a long time ago. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? How do I even write my name as an autograph? I had no idea. I was like about to put a smiley face afterwards because I was like so confused. I was like, well, you're a little girl, but you're only like a few years younger than me. And you want my autograph? That's weird. And I was super proud, but yeah, it was crazy time.
Who did you look up to as a young player? So you grew up, you said, in Germany, correct?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. So who was your role models looking up to as a young ball player?
That's difficult. I think there's like many characters that I really like. Like I looked at some goalkeepers since I'm a goalie. And I took like some disciplines or some special facts about every goalkeeper that I like, and I put it together. Like there wasn't this one goalkeeper that I tried to copy. For example, Manuel Neuer, I think he's like one of the biggest ones of all time. And I liked some about his presence and his I don't know, like how he stepped on the pitch. But then there's, for example, Marc-André ter Stegen, another German goalkeeper, who is like really good playing with his feet. And there's like different things from different people that I really like and that I tried to improve myself with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then, so I know I'm jumping around here because I got a lot of things I want to ask you, but let's talk about kind of your journey. So you mentioned 14 years old, you signed an autograph. What was your journey to professional pathway? I guess what were you doing at 14 to sign autographs, and talk about your journey to where you got to today?
Well, when I was younger, I grew up in a small village, and I used to always play with boys. So I was always in a boys' team. I was the only girl, and then I think I was kind of lucky sometimes because then there was the regional team, and then I got nominated for the youth national team. That was when I signed my first autograph, and then it just kept going, and people were like noticing me and looking at me, and I was always like the small girl playing in the goal. And I was talented, but I was even more hardworking. And then when I was 16 years old, I went to boarding school for soccer. So I got to practice like 3 times a day, which was the best time of my life, I guess. And afterwards, I actually signed in the first league of Germany. And then I played Bundesliga several years. I even played for Bayern Munich. I made it to the German A national team. I actually played the She Believes Cup, which is in the United States, several times. I played in Canada, against Canada. So, yeah, there were many big things in my career so far. And 2 years ago, I went to Austria, and now I play for SK.
You blew through a lot of that, but maybe to you that seems normal, but for me, that's absolutely incredible So you're 14 years old. You're playing for the youth national team. How do you get notified for that? You look young enough that you probably had, like, for me, I would have had a letter or a fax sent to me. But for you, like, how do you get that call at 14 years old? To, like, who calls you? Does the coach call you? How do you know you're going to represent your country?
It just kind of kept going. Like when I was, I think, 8 years old. I was still playing with the boys in my village, and then there's this kind of team. They find the best players in the city, and they were all like 12 and 13-year-old girls, and I was 8 years old, and they needed a goalkeeper. And then they were like, "Oh, there's Karina. She's quite good. She's talented. Let's take her for the team." And I was like super small and just playing with them, and so people always noticed me. And then I got called up for the regional team. And then we had like scrimmages against other regional teams in Germany. And then one day it was just like, okay, we have to get her for the national team. Yeah, and that's how it went. And then I remember that I actually got a letter at home. I mean, it's some years ago, so there was no emailing, no phone calling. It was still the old nice letter in paper. And actually my dad got it at home because I was at boarding school where I was like at some friends, I don't remember. And then he was like, "Well, guess what happened? I think you got nominated for the national team." And I was freaking out like crazy.
That's cool. That's really neat. And again, sorry for my ignorance here. So when you say a village, how big is a village to you? Like what size? To me, I picture village. I picture this really small community in like in the fishing, and I picture a village like that. But what is it? How big was your village?
Well, I actually don't really know. I think it grew back. It grew a lot bigger the last years. Maybe it's like 2,500 people who live there. So it's like almost everyone basically knows each other. So it's not tiny, but it's still like small enough so that people know each other. And there's like one soccer pitch in the middle, basically. And like all you can do in this village is play soccer, basically. And yeah, I mean, if you're the only girl playing with boys and then you're kind of successful, of course people know you. And whenever I get back, like visit my family, almost everyone is happy to see me. That's just such a nice feeling.
That's what I was going to ask. I bet that's neat coming up. Now, do you still go back? Is that old pitch still there? Do you ever go back and just kick around with the boys again, just
Sometimes
to show them
I
what's
do,
up?
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
whenever I get home, I have to go there. And my brother, he's actually still playing there in this village. So I always go and watch his matches when I'm at home and when he has a home match, then I always go and watch.
that's really cool. So do you think that's, I mean, that experience of growing up in a small village and having one pitch and playing with the boys, do you think without that you wouldn't have been as successful? Do you think that's what helped lead to your success of being in that, of just nonstop playing with the boys and nonstop playing football on this one pitch your entire childhood?
I think so. Like, and my parents, they were always like, well, you're going to soccer practice again. Why? Don't you want to do something else? And I was always like, no, I want to go now. And then I practiced with the boys, I think like 3 times a week. And then there was a girls team who were a lot older than me. But like boys are more physical. They're stronger. They're faster. They're more aggressive. So I actually enjoyed playing with them because it was like more difficult for me, more challenging basically. And so the other 2 days a week, the girls team was practicing. So I joined them as well. And then there was a women's team who were way older than me, but I joined them as well because I always wanted to go to the pitch. I always wanted to practice. So basically my whole childhood was me at the soccer pitch.
And then when you were younger, there probably wasn't a ton of opportunities for women to play professional soccer. What was your dream as a kid? Did you know? Or I'm just playing this game that I love. Like what was your long-term dream?
That's difficult because I didn't really have a dream. I mean, of course, you always like wear the national team jersey or maybe a jersey of your favorite club. But I never even really thought about going professional because I just enjoyed the game. You know, I was just
Yeah.
the little girl playing soccer and having fun doing it. I never really expected me to go professional and to be like this successful. I mean, I was talented and I was hardworking, but I never really dreamed of me being like, yeah, as successful as I am today.
Yeah. That's that. I mean, that's and that's one thing I think we miss here sometimes is just, your small community just playing on the pitch. You're playing 6 days a week, and that's neat. What's been the difference? What's been the hardest thing for you during your career? Let's say as a goalkeeper. Let's look at your senior career and professional wise. Like, what's been one of the hardest setbacks, the biggest setbacks that you've had that kind of shook you and go, ooh, I got to bounce back from this.
I think a hard setback is always an injury. Because if you love playing soccer so much and then you're injured and you just can't, and the team is going outside, they're on the pitch, they're practicing, they're having matches on the weekend, and you just stay there, you're doing your rehab training, and yeah, it just sucks. Just watching, it hurts. Like it always feels like a heartbreak just watching other people playing soccer and you can't, and then you have pain, and I think that's the worst thing that can happen to you.
What's been the worst injury you've had so far?
I actually was kind of lucky so far in my career. I had some bone fractures, but like nothing bad. Like I never really needed surgery. It was just yeah, some fractures after 6 or maybe like 8 weeks. I was fine again. Actually, a few weeks ago I broke my finger, but I kept playing, so it's nothing bad.
Yeah.
And then I had a knee injury, which was kind of yeah, it took a long time. So I had rehab training for like a year, and I had to check every day. Like one day the knee was better, and the next day it was worse, and I like didn't know what was helping, what was making it better. So it needed me to be like really patient. That was a tough time, but apart from that, I was luckily yeah never really injured in a bad way.
That's incredible. And the thing is, what's scary as a goalkeeper is that, I mean, one goalkeeper gets to play. And so if you're out for a couple of weeks and the backup goalkeeper starts playing better, or like you got to earn that spot back. There's no other option for you. It's not like you're going to slide in and just play forward. It's so I think, I imagine mentally it's even scarier to get hurt as a keeper because you're like, yes, you want your team to do well, but you're like in the back of your mind, you're like, don't do that well that I don't get my spot back. But, and so I guess there's that fear there that you're always thinking about.
that's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. Because like if you're number one, if you're always playing, then yeah, it's good, it's easy, and usually if you perform well, then you keep your spot. But of course, if you do get injured and then the second goalie is playing and performing well, of course that is scary. But I think if you have a good mood or like a good handling with the other goalkeepers, if you're like working well in your little goalkeeper team, then everyone wants everyone else to perform well. Because I mean you are just a team, you know, and the team wants to be successful. But of course, as a goalie, especially as a goalie, it's even harder. If you don't play, it's really hard to get the first pick.
And what's one of the hardest mental aspects of a keeper? We all have this joke, and I was a keeper myself at one point in my life, but you know, it's the keepers just we're not mentally there. We're built differently, but mentally, what's it like? Let's talk during the game, or if you give up a goal, what's the hardest thing mentally about being a keeper?
I think the hardest thing is that if you make a mistake, usually it's a goal against you. But I think that is exactly the reason why I wanted to become goalkeeper. Because if you make a mistake and then the opponent scores, and then it just sucks, you know. And then you want to practice more and work even harder so that this mistake doesn't happen again. And that's just kind of my mentality. Like I even work harder and stronger so that I don't make any mistakes. And that's what I really like about the position as playing a goalkeeper. Because like, you know, the opponent shoots and they score, and the opponent and everyone in your own team, they all look at you and they all look disappointed. The opponent, they are celebrating, they are screaming, they are just happy, they are laughing. And every single member of your team and every single person cheering, watching the game from the outside, everyone is looking in your direction because that is where the goal just happened. And you're the only person looking in the other direction and staring at all those faces and seeing this disappointment. And this situation is something that is really tough because you have to kind of forget the situation and keep playing. Because you still have time, you can still score, like your team can still score. But you have to, you know, my goalkeeper coach, he always says, have a memory like a fish. Like a fish can remember the last 10 seconds and then it's over. And then you always start with zero. You always start like as nothing has happened. And you need to work on that as a goalkeeper because mistakes happen and goals against you happen. And then just continue and keep up the good work and keep up your performance. I think that's the most challenging mental part.
Yeah, but how good does it feel like if you have this incredible save that and the crowd goes crazy and you're you know, maybe it's you knock it out for a corner kick or whatever it is, but the crowd's going nuts, your teammates are going nuts, like, and in that moment you forget you forget everything. Like you're just in this moment of like surreal outside of your body, like you saved a PK, and it's like this moment is worth all the heartache for this moment because now you're the person. Like it's as good as it gets for a goalkeeper when you make that massive save or cross your body save. Like that's an unforgettable moment, and I'm sure it's even bigger when the whole crowd's behind you, right?
Exactly. Like right now, you're just talking about it. I'm getting goosebumps again. It's I remember this one situation last year in Champions League, when I had this like huge save, and then the same thing. Everyone is looking at you, and everyone is proud, and everyone is cheering, and everyone is like coming up, running to you. Yes, Karina, amazing! And everyone is like clapping their hands, and it's the best feeling ever. It's like, you know, you wake up every morning for those situations.
Yeah. I mean, it's not but it's almost like it's a drug. Like it's an addiction. Like you want that feeling again and you train really hard for that moment. Like you want to be there in that moment that you need that big save. And it's an unmistakable feeling. That's really, I can relate to that for sure. Not at your level. I've never had, you know, playing the Champions League. So what's a day in the life for you, of a professional athlete for SK Polten? What's the day look like? What's your schedule look like? Let's say in season, like right now, what's your day in the life look like for you?
Well, actually, combined with playing soccer on a professional level, I do go to med school. So I'm studying to become a physician one day. So I spent a lot of time at university, but of course there's always like soccer in my head. Like I try to organize everything around my practices. I of course organize everything around the matches, especially Champions League matches. Yeah, but it works out quite well. Like whenever I go to university, I kind of relax my body. Whenever I'm on the pitch practicing, I kind of like shut off my thoughts and the brain. So it really goes hand in hand. And usually I wake up quite early at like 6:30 or 7 in the morning. And then I start the first studying session. And sometimes I have like classes at university that I have to go to that are mandatory. Sometimes I can just skip classes. And then I have practice once or twice a day. And that's my favorite part of the day, of course. And usually I get home quite late, maybe at around 9 p.m. Sometimes a little bit earlier,
Wow.
depending on how the day is like going and if we have some analysis, some videos that we are watching from the latest games, depending on if I still do some strength session after the normal practice or if I do some recovery or treatment, whatever. Yeah, and then when I go home, usually I continue studying for med school. So it's always kind of busy, but it's fun. It's like both are my biggest passions, and I'm just so grateful that I can combine it both.
That's crazy. Is anyone else doing that insane schedule of med school? I mean, people here in the United States, they go to med school and that's all they do. Like they go to
Most
med school
people,
and
yeah,
and you're going to med school and playing high level like professional soccer. You're going to go to the Champions League. Like you're insane. Like they say goalkeepers are crazy, but that's I mean that's incredible though. I mean that in a good way. That's incredible to keep that schedule up. What's your time? I mean, your time management skills have to be incredible, right? I mean, you have to have this routine set up. I'm assuming, like, and every day you have to be disciplined enough to wake up and study, and then to study, watch film. Like, you got to be super disciplined to keep up with this schedule, right?
yeah. Thanks for your kind words. Well, it is busy. It is very busy, but I love both so much. I'm so into medicine, and I'm so fascinated about the human body, and like my heart is basically a soccer ball. So I love both, and I couldn't live without one of them. So yeah, for me, it's just a great thing. I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I can do both, that I wouldn't want to miss one of it. It's me. I mean, I have to be like really structured and disciplined and, um, hardworking, but so far it works out and I'm just super happy that I can do it.
That's really neat. And then, so obviously, your long-term goal is when your soccer career ends in the far future is to become a physician. Now, is there a certain area of medicine that you like? Which study? I mean, was it working with children? I mean, a certain area.
Right now, I would say it's orthopedics because of the
Okay.
sport I'm doing. Because I get to see many injuries and I get to see how people who get injured badly, how they do the rehab training and how they actually make it back to the pitch. And that is super fascinating. And I think because of the passion towards the sport and especially soccer, I really, like orthopedics and I could just see myself doing surgeries and kind of like helping other professional players or other athletes to get healthy again after a bad injury.
Huh. That's fascinating. That's really cool. I'm over here barely reading and writing, and you're playing professional soccer and studying to be a doctor. So that's good for you. So you talk about kind of the training aspect, and then what's the off the field look like? How do you have to take care of yourself? How do you have to take care of your mental and physical well being when you're off the pitch? Like, how much do you constantly think about that of keeping yourself fit, game ready, keep yourself mentally strong? How does that play into your day?
There's a lot of routines. Like it's still a lot of discipline, and I'm really careful, like to keep up my traditions and little routines. Like I always go to bed at the same time. I try to wake up at the same time. I take a lot of care about what I eat. I pay attention to what I eat, the quality of the food, the amount of food. I eat a lot of veggies, of course, vegetables and fruits and good protein. And I try to recover my body a lot. When I come back home from practice and my legs are tired, I have those reboots to just recover my legs. And I can go use them and study at the same time. So I go sit on the couch. I use some recovery, I don't know, like my reboots or something else, or just a normal black roll. And I focus on recovering so I can go back to the pitch on the next day and be fresh. And I try to combine it with studying time. So whenever I have to sit down and relax my body, I can use my brain to study. And whenever my brain is tired from studying, I enjoy just going for a run or doing strength session. I actually know what my body needs. Like, for example, after my knee injury, I need some special strength training just to keep my knee stable and just to prevent that it hurts again. So I really focus that I do all the treatment that I need for my knee. I do a lot of stretching after practice. Yeah, sleep is one of the most important things I already mentioned. Yeah, you have to be like really strict to your body. Like, don't eat a lot of candy, no chocolate, no late night out, no alcohol for sure. But I mean, it's just you actually feel better if you take care of your body, and so it just goes hand in hand again.
Yeah, the candy lost me. So I was like, yeah, maybe that's why one's a professional athlete like that. Maybe that's why. I'll just blame that. I'll blame that on the Snickers. So sleep, nutrition. How much? The sleep is important, and you go to bed at the same time, and you talk about nutrition. What like dive a little deeper, like the importance of the nutrition aspect of it, and how much have you had a moment that your nutrition kind of got out, and I would say out of control, but you've kind of had a moment like your nutrition slipped for maybe a week and you felt it. Like, what is that? I think we have a lack of information for nutrition here in the United States. And so talk about it a little more deeper, like the importance of nutrition and of what you put in your body and how that matters. And if you had to regress in that one time, maybe for a week or so, that makes sense.
I think the hardest time is always around Christmas, because I love Christmas cookies. And I do love good food, but, I know what I do it for. Like, if I eat bad things, or like if I eat sugar or fast food, whatever, I always feel very tired. Like, my legs are hurting much quicker. I just feel not as powerful, and I need longer to recover. And I actually feel it in my muscles. And it's not just mental, I actually do feel it. And just about knowing that I don't feel fit after eating bad things makes me not even like touch bad food. And I think, like, especially during Champions League, you have 2 matches a week. Like, you play on the weekend and then usually Wednesday or Thursday, and then you have to only 2 days to recover. So you have to really take care of what you do to your body. And I think nutrition, like yourself, your body is made of what you give your body. So if you eat bad things, then your cells in the body are going to be bad. But if you eat good food, then the cells of your body are going to be good and powerful. So it's just, for me, it's just normal thinking, basically. Like, eat good food and your body is going to be good.
Yeah. It's normal to you, but there's so many people here that don't grasp the importance of nutrition and getting the right sleep, and so I think that's good. I think that's good for people to hear that, and getting that. Now, do you guys have you guys have a facility that you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner at your club or with there, or can you spend all day there and you get the food and that's healthy and right for you at the training facility?
Not really. Usually we cook at home. We just get food after practice, but like no breakfast. Since there's several players who go to university, or some people even work, we even have, I think, like one girl, she's still going to school. So we all have like a different everyday life. So we basically eat at home. But after the match or after practice, we do get some food, which usually is very healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about the people having other jobs and stuff. Like, do you foresee in the near future that women's leagues pay enough that this can be a full-time job, that you don't have to have two jobs? I mean, do you see that happening in the near future, that the women's game continues to get elevated and they don't have to have a second job, but this is what they get to do full-time?
I think that
you know what
has
I'm saying?
happened in other leagues already. And of course, there are
Yeah.
some players in my team that just play soccer. But like in my opinion, it's even a privilege that I can do both. Because after my soccer career, I won't be rich. It's not as it is for men football players or
Mhm.
men soccer players in Europe. They are finished with their career and they're rich. That won't happen to female soccer players. So I'm actually really happy that I can do both, that I can go to university and prepare my life for after my soccer career. And of course, I could just stay at home and just play soccer and live with it. That would be fine. Like I would earn enough money by just playing soccer. But I already think about my future and the career I want to have after my soccer career. And that's a really good thing that I can do it in Austria. Like I can do both, because there's several clubs in maybe England or France or Germany. They practice right in the middle of the day, and then you can't go to university. You have no chance of doing school or university or having a second job, because there's just not enough time. And we usually practice late in the afternoon, and that makes it possible for me to go to university during the day.
That's incredible. What would be some advice? You got young women wanting to be professional. When they say, Karina, what is it? What's some advice you can give to players that want to play at the highest level, that want to make Champions League one day?
I think the most important thing is just to have fun what you're doing, and just to enjoy the game. As long as you enjoy yourself, and as long as you enjoy practice and playing the matches on the weekends or sometimes even during the week, then you will get better, because then you're willing to practice harder, then you are willing to go the extra mile, then you're willing to do more than other players. For me, it was always, I looked at other people and I compared what they are training and I compared how I am training. I was like, okay, I am talented, but I'm also hardworking, and I need to be working harder than other people if I want to become better than other people. Of course, regeneration is important as well. But if you have goals, and if you focus on these goals, you have to know what you have to give to get to those goals, to reach them. And as long as you are enjoying it, and as long as you are having fun on the way, I think it's much easier to work hard and to sometimes even suffer during practice. But that's just how it is. And you can even enjoy suffering. You can even enjoy endurance running and strength training. If you see the goal, and if you know, you're going to be successful during the matches, then it's all worth it.
You talk about running, and which is obviously a part of the game. As what's your guys' standard? Maybe it comes from your goalkeeper coach. You talk about fitness on the team. Where do you have to fit in for fitness? Because goalkeepers don't run. Yeah, but you got to be fit, and what's your guys' standard? You got to be in the top half of fitness. You got to be top 10% of fitness. How much does fitness play a part in your role as a goalkeeper?
Well, I think my fitness is a little bit different. I'm a lot stronger than other players. If we compare strength sessions, maybe I think I push and I squat and deadlift the most weight compared to other players. But I still do run around 6 or 7 kilometers per match. And people always forget about it, that I actually do run a lot. People are like, well, you just stand around and you're not moving. No, that's not true. Especially in the modern way of playing soccer, you actually do run a lot. And there are some matches that I even run more than 7 kilometers. And that is a lot. So I need the fitness to run that much. Of course, the players on the field, they are running 10 or 11 kilometers, which is a little bit more. But still, as a goalkeeper, you have to have this fitness. And Endurance is not only about the performance during the match, but it's also about recovering after the match. If you're used to running a lot, of course you recover much faster, and then you're going to be fit for the next practice and match again. So it's always important, even as a goalkeeper, to be physically ready and fit.
And how important is your foot skills as a goalkeeper?
Very important, especially for us, as we are like a team in Austria who have a lot of ball possession. We play the ball we have like 60-70% at least every match. So we have a great build-up game where we always I always take part in our building up the game. I can play with my right foot or left foot. I really don't care, especially if the opponent is like running at you and I'm pressing high. Then I can just put the ball on my left or right foot. I don't even think about it. I know I can play the ball wherever I want it to go. I can shoot it far. I can play a short pass. Doesn't matter. And it gives confidence to myself because I know they can just like attack me however they want. Either right side or left side. I really don't care. And that makes me feel very safe and confident. And same accounts for my defenders. They can play the ball to me on either side, which doesn't matter because they know, okay, Karina can clear it anyways. That's a really good thing.
Yeah, very cool. So, and now your upcoming match is October 9th, the Group D. You're away. Help me pronounce this name. So the Hammarby?
I actually don't really know because it's like in Sweden. I'd say like Hammarby, but I have no idea. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it as well. I have no idea. I just know that it's
I feel
Sweden.
much better that you're struggling to pronounce as well. Okay. Okay. Well, good. We certainly know Man City. So that's October 9th coming up in 7 days. What's your and then on this 18th is at home versus Man City, correct?
True. Yeah.
So then you have then on November 12th you have Barcelona. So you'll be traveling to Barcelona as part of Group D. So what's your guys' prep the next 7 days for Group D for the Champions League? What's that kind of look like the next 7 days?
Well, we're gonna have another league match on Saturday. So our league is still continuing, and then Champions League is just like kind of in between. So it's just last practice before the match, then it's the match, then it's recovery, then it's again one more practice, another match, recovery. So it's always like busy weeks. But for me, playing matches is the most fun part of playing soccer. So I really enjoy it. We call it English week if you have 2 matches a week. And for me, it's the best thing actually, because you don't have to wait that long for another match to come up. So it's even more important to take care of your sleep and of your nutrition and the recovery. But I mean that's why we are playing professional, just to have the ideas of what your body needs and how to be ready for the next match.
And then so far, I just kind of want to brag for you guys, and I'll even pull this up because I don't know if you know all the stats, but it's so in your qualifying stage so far, you guys have won 4. You've put up 14 goals, 0 goals against, 84 attempts on goal, which is incredible. 0 goals conceded, and that's a heck of a run so far. That's a heck of a run. 0 goals conceded. I mean that's a big deal. So that's you guys are coming in. I'm assuming you're coming in with quite a bit of confidence into these next 2 games. I would assume, right?
Of course. I mean it's going to be tough matches, especially Hammarby, Man City, and Barcelona. I think they're like the strongest opponents you could have got in the draw. But still, it's going to be a nice challenge and adventure for us. I think the last matches, especially if you say like 0 goals conceded, it makes me really proud because we work really well in the defense. And the thing I really like about the scoring goals, like almost everyone in our team can score. It's not always the same the same striker. It's not always the same person scoring those goals. But like we have so many different options or different situations in which we score, which just shows how strong we are as a team. Because like, sometimes you have teams where there's only one striker scoring all the goals, and just if the striker is injured or is sick or whatever, you just don't score at all. And that doesn't happen to us, and that's something that makes me really proud of my team.
Yeah, that's incredible. So just so everyone understands, Champions League, you guys will play a home and away for each match. I know this all makes sense to you, but a lot of people don't quite grasp the aggregates. You play a home and away. So we're gonna say Hammarby, which just seems cool. I say Hammarby, but you go Hammarby, Man City, then Barcelona, and then you kind of resets, and then you guys will go Barcelona back to back, Barcelona, Man City, then Hammarby again. So one home, one away, and you guys will take the aggregate score. So do you want to explain aggregate for our listeners of what the aggregate score is for each game?
Well, actually, it's just you have a group, which is those 4 teams now. And the first 2 teams to get the most points will concede to quarterfinals, I think, after the group stage. So we just qualified for the group stage now, and we play every team twice. We play a home match and an away match, and then the best 2 teams basically go to quarterfinals.
So aggregate does not come into play in this situation. It's 3 points for 3 points for. Is that how that's based on? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So home and away,
if you
3
win, you
points
get
for
3
win.
points.
Okay.
If you tie, you get 1 point. And then the team who has the most points is going to be first place. Second, who has the second most points. And if you have, I think, the same amount of points, then the team who scored the most goals is going to proceed.
Got it. Okay. So we need to be top 2 and over the next by the time December 15th rolls around, we need to be top 2. Okay, so awesome. So easy. So we just go out, you beat Hammarby, you beat Man City, beat Barca. I mean, this is simple, right? I mean, this is awesome.
Of course, yeah.
This is easy peasy. So,
I mean,
well,
Barcelona, they have like a lot of Spanish players who just became world champion a few years ago. They have the players who won the Ballon d'Or the last year, so it's going to be really easy.
Yeah, you guys haven't given goals. It's my prediction is 3-0 against Barcelona. It's gonna be
Sounds
cool.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. So that's well, I appreciate you taking the time. Carina Schlüter, there we go. I'm learning here. I'm doing all these names. And St. Poltan in Austria. Has not lost a game in the past 2 years. They haven't conceded goals. They're scoring like crazy. Champions League. Wednesday, October 9th, they kick off with Hammarby. And then October 16th with Manchester City. And then November 12th against Barcelona on the first three games. So this is one of our Rush partnerships, one of our Rush professional pathways that we have. And so, Karina, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know like I said, some teams are going over there. Rush teams have the opportunity to go watch these Champions League games, see a Rush jersey happening. So really, really cool experience. Obviously, we'll be cheering for you and watching. And so I really appreciate taking the time to join us today.